This week we'll be celebrating the festival of Purim, a very special, lovely, very silly festival in many ways. And on Purim we read the Megillah, the story of Queen Esther and Mordechai in the town of Shushan. The book of Esther is part of the Bible, and it's very unusual in that it's the only book in the Bible in which God's name doesn't appear. Unlike every other part of the Bible in which God's name usually appears at least once or twice, in the book of Esther, God actually never appears at all. In fact, even when you would think that God ought to appear, God doesn't. For example, Mordechai, when he's trying to persuade Esther to go and see the queen, he says, maybe help will come from some other place. Never actually saying maybe God will step in and help. When they go to fast and hope that everything goes well, they don't start praying to God. This absence is so striking that in the Apocrypha, in the Greek version of the book of Esther, they actually add in a whole section of a prayer that Mordechai can say at that moment, as they're so bothered by the fact that these apparently religious people don't seem to turn to God in their moment of need. But what can we learn from this absence of God in the story of Esther? In many ways, this is the story of the whole Tanakh, of the whole Jewish Bible. We start off in the Garden of Eden, where God is very, very present. God walks around in the garden and speaks to people. We end the whole Bible with the book of Esther. That's kind of chronologically towards the end of the book, where God is totally absent. We go from a world in which God is everywhere to a world in which God is totally hidden. After all, that's what Esther means. Esther means to be hidden, and so God is hidden within the narrative. That's the world that we live in. The world we live in where God isn't visible all the time, God isn't obviously there, but God is there hidden in the things that we experience. And it's that hiddenness which can be so moving and so animating. It isn't always the presence of things which inspires us, but sometimes their absence which really moves us and motivates us. Some people think that if only they understood of all of religion, if only everything could be justified intellectually, then they would keep it, then they would follow it, it would make sense to them. I actually think that the opposite is true. If everything made total sense, then what would be the inspiring power of it? What would motivate us? To me, it's that absence, that missing piece, that mystery, which is so inspiring. It's that mystery, the missing piece, which is God.